Hola and welcome everybody to Monday Night Fire Shrike. And as we open up here, we're gonna get we get a little bit of um I think the background music for this is probably Mighty Mighty Boss Tones Someday I Suppose. And yeah. Uh and we get the Fire Strike logo, and we get and we kind of come in on Zai walking. And who's with Zai at the moment? Who's with Captain Zai as he is walking to go visit his old friends, his and
Hmm.
Nahir's old friends?
So, Tix Pit, of course, and hmm,
I mean, any of you that are on the Adari can also decide that you want to be there.
that's true.
Fucking
I mean, where
Anybody
if you
who's
want to
on the
come meet
Adari?
some like four-armed people, this is probably the time to do it. But they're not
Nurx is
necessarily.
Nurx
No,
is
not Nerks.
with you too. No,
Well, that's fine.
yeah, I was gonna say
Well,
she
yeah,
wanted to.
no,
Yeah, she was trying
yeah,
wanting
she
to find
wanted to like.
people.
I understand that. She
Uh,
actually has a connection to here that I don't share. So,
question. How long has passed since last episode then?
maybe maybe a few hours, maybe. At this point. At this point, Thobus Greenfellow and Dr. Talent have left the station. They had their meeting with you guys and small talk and everything like that, as far as it were, afterwards. But basically, the gist of it was that they're Dr. Talent is going to, foot the
oh,
bill for Thobus Greenfellow to start the legal processes of getting your planet recognized as a sovereign planet.
Melanie is definitely here, by the way, and the reason
Okay.
for that is she needs to see where Nahir grew up.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Gonna,
It-
I think Twinkle will still be in the red quarter because it might be pertinent to have a character there for.
Well, no, and we're about to be in the red quarter because that's where Nahir grew up.
Oh, okay. Well,
yeah,
then Nurse
you're
was already
technically in
there,
your red
and
quarter.
Twinkle will be there too.
Yeah, yeah,
Not only
yeah.
that, but technically, Melanie will have been given the proper dress for a teenager of, you know, it's been altered to only have two arms, but it's definitely very traditional.
Oh, okay. Cool. Very
I'd be
cool.
like, you need to wear this dress and behave.
The other two arms were made into very long pockets.
Oh,
That
yeah,
is
and
a
I
super
believe,
kick-ass idea. Girls love pockets and dresses.
and
Hell, I love
then,
pockets on a dress.
Yeah, I think Shab will come along.
Yay!
and I was gonna say, Lady Sonnet was with Twinkle and Nurx last time because you guys were playing hide and seek. Um, I think she's just kind of silently gliding along with you guys, darting from shadow to shadow because that's what she do. Um,
That sounds fun. Twinkle must resist.
you are, yeah, you're in the red quarters, and you were going to look up Rasif Vasa Nemoth,
Right? I thought they
Nahir's old
wouldn't
friend.
actually live here because, this is the rough neighborhood.
Well, Rasif does. If you're going to go see Nuhi and Jim, Nuhi and her brother Jim, Nuhi being like the one who was studying to become an Adada with you before you got exiled.
Right,
Did,
the one that's got my job now.
well, so are you going to go see
No,
Nuhi and her brother, or are you going to go see Rasif?
we're gonna see Rosif because we're already in the red quarter,
Okay.
and I suppose I can let them know that's where they were about to be. See if they can show up there.
They actually send you an invitation to come by for dinner, and
Ah,
they tell you to bring Rasif.
oh, okay,
Because
that's fine.
apparently they've hung out with, apparently Jim and Rossif are friends, and
Right, no, that makes sense that that would happen. She did run around with me from time to time, so she saw the place down here in a way
yeah,
that most other Adada do not. Like,
well,
I look at Melanie and I'm like, this for a Kasathan is the slum part of town, and if you're a rich, fancy Kasathan, they really look down upon you even coming here for any
mm-hmm.
reason at all.
In fact, the
Like,
Travel Bureau like recommends you stay the fuck away from the red corridors.
yeah,
Like their information travel bureau is like, yeah, it's here, but don't go there. That's bad
right?
news.
Yeah. And like, yeah. So I'm like, so once we get here, stay with me.
So you kind of you're kind of walking you're kind of walking through, and of course, as we've
And I'm
described,
showing her different things as we go along. I'm like, and this is the place where I met Nahir for the first time. He saved me from three very large guys that were angry that someone of my kind would come to this area.
yeah, yeah, and there's and you see the neighborhood roughs, and there are doors that lead to quarters for the where bad. There's loud music coming from them, and a couple of guys Kasathan standing out front, just looking menacing, like
Right?
you
The
don't want to
smell of
knock on this
skunk
door,
wafts through.
you know.
Right?
So
Well, maybe, but not right now. Um, I'm not here to start trouble.
no, no, yeah. Well, that's their job is to look like you don't want to knock
Yeah.
on this door. Like you are well recognized enough that they show that they show a bit of deference to you and maybe Shaba and Nurks because you guys are like the most well known of the group that's walking down this way. Um, but outside of that, like the rest of your group, like there's that kind of like they look at them like who the fuck are these guys? But the
Oh, those
rest of
guys run with Zai. We better leave them the fuck alone.
kind of well, there might be one or two of them that are like, oh, that one's one. That's who they. I I could
Yeah,
run with
they have a
Zai better than
goblin.
that one. No, actually, Nurse is pretty famous too because she's been with
Who's
you for a
That's true.
while.
She's
who's
been
the
with us for the
rat
longest time.
person?
Yeah,
Yeah.
they
I thought the black
yeah.
rat was dead.
Well, and you look nothing like
No, you look
Slef.
nothing like Slef Slef,
Yeah,
but
I
it's
was gonna
So they're
okay.
say.
all like, yeah, they're like, wow. There's a couple of them that look at you like, wow. He must have been really desperate to get another Yisekai because this one doesn't look
Yeah.
like much. I could
What's the
hang
opposite
with
of a
Zai better
xenophile?
than this one. Uh,
Xenophile.
Yeah,
yeah.
Zai is a xenophile. He's got to have one of everything.
um,
Thank you again, sir.
but
Mhm.
you're kind of walking through here, and maybe the background music is sort of like incongruous with like the sort of like dangerous aspect of this area. But you do manage to come to a door, and there's graffiti spray painted over it. So it's um the like there's spray painted on the like front door in Kasathan is like I'm hungry, you know, or something, uh,
And I'm like,
or
kids these days, no sense of
or
humor.
yeah, or some such. But yeah, these are where you have discovered Ross's quarters to be.
Uh, Bing bong.
Yeah, there's a moment and like like one moment, and there like you hear some like banging around, and Rossif opens the door, and Rossif doesn't have like a regular mask. Like he's got a mask underneath this, but he's got like a scarf around as sort of the predominant decoration around the lower half of his mouth. It's kind of like it's like a green and purple or something like that. But it's also um, in like a it's in a traditional style, Kasathan style, but it's like old and kind of worn and what have
Right.
you. And
I
his
look at
clothes
him and
look
I
a bit.
say, hungover?
He's got like a workman's uniform on. He's like, just a little, a long shift. He says more like a long shift actually.
Mm.
He's like, it kind of peers at you, um, and
Yeah, I know. I have to bring an entourage. Otherwise, people are like, oh, we can fuck with Zai.
he goes, he's like, wait a minute, what are you doing here? I heard you were. I heard that the Pact Worlds formed an anti-terrorist. The Stewards formed an anti-terrorist unit. That they were. sick on you the moment you came back into the space.
Wait. Wasn't he at the funeral?
Yeah. Well, I mean, he was. Yeah, he was actually. But I think he's probably got the. He's still wondering why you were allowed to come back.
Oh,
And
oh,
he's like,
um,
I've been meaning to ask. I didn't want to bother you at the
at the
funeral about
funeral.
it. And he's like, I didn't. How did you? I mean, by all rights, yeah, there.
So Grandpa died. They need me to do some stuff, and it was important enough that they gave me a note from Auntie.
Yeah, he goes. It was so. Come in, come in. He's like, it's not a
Well,
very big.
as far as that goes, I'm going to say their names wrong. Umi,
Nuhi.
Nuhi, sorry. Nuhi wants us to go to her house because there's more space. So take a couple minutes, take a shot or something, and we'll talk on the way there. And then I'll introduce you to everyone.
Yeah. He's like, all right, I guess. He's like, any kind of there's a
You
moment
know
where
the
like,
food will be good, so it'll be
oh
worth it.
yeah, oh yeah, yeah. He, but he starts to go. He starts to go back into the. Fantastic. Um, he goes back into to change and what have you. But there's another Kasathan that kind of like walks down the hallway, and he's like, and he kind of looks at you guys for a second, and he goes, and he kind of narrows his eyes, and he's like, and he kind of walks over to the door, and he hollers after Rossif. He's like, Rossif, hey man, tonight meeting, you gonna be there? And Rossif from the other room's like, yeah, I'll be there. He goes, and the bell's on and everything, whatever the humans say. And it's like, yeah, all right, man. And he kind of turns around and he looks at Zai, and kind of narrows his eyes a little bit again, but he doesn't say anything further and walks off.
Hmm. I give him the circle.
Okay. he he's kind of yeah, he kind
He
of
walks
does
off. I understand that,
yeah
but still,
yeah yeah he's
I'm not here to pick any fights with anyone that doesn't want to deal with me.
yep. But it only takes Rossif a couple of minutes to get his shit together. Like he comes back, his clothes are still, sort of wrinkled and disheveled looking, but it's not his workman's uniform anymore.
It's all good.
And uh, and he's still got the scarf, but
Mm.
he's like, well, let's go to dinner then, I guess. And like
Yep.
he goes, I guess I could probably says I got a lot of questions, but I guess I can save them for later.
No, you can do those on the way. It's going to take us a little bit to get there. You know that.
He's like, yeah, I know. And he just probably, and he kind
Oh,
of looks
okay.
over. Yeah, and I'm sure they're the same questions that Nuhi and Jem will have. And in any case, he goes
That's
for
true.
the most part. And for the most part, and he goes, so what do you think about what do you think about the Adari so far? You kind of not changed, same place or same orbit or whatever you want to call it.
Uh, Home is home, man. It's nice to get to visit, but I didn't necessarily want to come back. If it hadn't been for the fact that Nahir died, I may have told her to fuck off.
He kind of gets a downcast look, and he's like, I never to ask you. He said, so there are a lot of there. He said, you know that there's still that contingent that wants to find a that wants to I don't know, conquer Akaton or do something other than what we're doing kind of got a little bigger while you were gone.
Hmm. There's always going to be a large number of discontents.
Yeah,
Conquering
well,
Akaton politically is a fool's move.
kind of. And he goes, yes, and there's still that rabid but small contingent that want to fire up the engines and take the all the Dari elsewhere.
Ah, and I would love to be here for when they fire up those engines and start moving our planet once again. But
And he goes,
go on.
I don't know. I kind of feel like that. I'm not sure how great an idea that is. The engines are kind of old.
But in the best repair that they can possibly be. I've worked those floors, and it is ridiculous the amount of effort even we put into those engines, considering that they're only on maintenance mode.
He kind of nods a second, and you, as you're walking down the red corridors, you see a couple of like you see a bit some more graffiti here and there. Like there's some graffiti in Kasathan that
Mm-hmm.
has it's like a crudely drawn crest eater with the words "Stay hungry" and "I'm starving" and the things like that that are like the kind of graffiti that's going on around here. No, there is no graffiti that reads "just beef." Sorry, there just isn't. Um,
It's
in any
Easter
case,
eggs.
In any case,
you're wrong universe, everybody.
in any case, so
But as you're kind of going back up, as you're kind of going up and what have you, back up to New He's and and Jim's, they kind of peppers you with questions and observations, and well, he kind of peppers you more with observations about what's going on the Adari, like
mm,
any kind of
yeah, he's my friend that has to catch me back up with what's going on.
yeah, and there's like you pass by a couple of like hollow news screens where they're like talking about like riots have broken out on Versace and on Absalom Station at your return to the Pact Worlds, and like Zach Guzler, there's like you don't Zach Guzler appears on one of the screens apparently giving some sort of statement about the situation. Um, but there is you eventually make it back up to Jim and Nuhi's, and Jim and answers the door, and he is very well dressed. But you knew damn good and well that Jim was sort of when you last saw him, he was training to be a part of the Adari Defense Force.
Mm-hmm.
He was training to be in the military. Uh, and he kind of greets you at the door. He's like when you get there, he goes, yeah, well, a bit more company than we expected, but I suppose we'll make do. Rasif, good to see you. And he's like, and
Rosif and I go through the 10-minute greeting sequence that we have to do.
yeah, and he's just like, he's like, and he's like, well, he says, why don't you have your son? He says, come on over here. Well, and he like leads you over to like sort of a living room sitting area, and he's like, and he actually takes the time to like meet each of you. He's like, uh, to like greet each of you, and he's like, he goes, uh, says, my name, he says, greetings. I am Jim Dostos Kasankam of Clan Deshal. And he goes, says, I am he said, and he's like, and your friends here. I recognize, of course, Shabayan, uh, Nurks. I don't believe anyone's ever reported a last name on you. And she's just like, damn right, fuck a last name. and just, and
It's a
I
mononym.
pat Nurks on the head. It's okay.
he's just, he's like, he's like, and of course, Zai, he says, and who are the rest of your retinue
Hmm.
here?
My shadow behind me is Tixpit. He's taken Nahir's place as my personal bodyguard because everyone seems to think I need one.
Keep body safe.
and
Yeah.
he's just really
I
fucking
just
close.
reach up and pet him just a little bit.
He just
I'm like,
turns his fucking
"You're such a
weird
good
bug
boy."
head towards this other person. You think it's supposed to be like a happy sound, but it's just kind of like
Yeah, it's a weird.
as he like clicks
Yeah.
his mandibles at them.
Mm,
And technically, Tixpit is doesn't
yeah,
have a
that's
specific
sex.
gender.
No,
Yeah.
I just
they
default to
are
that.
cool.
Yeah, I think everybody kind of defaults in
And
there.
then this is my ward, Melanie.
Yeah, and she just kind of, she kind of like does like a formal, like a
Yeah, she
formal
does her best
handshake.
Kasathan curtsy
Yeah,
that she can do that I've tried to
yeah,
teach her.
yeah. She,
I'm like,
she
she's learning.
yeah. He says, and he looks over
And then
Twinkle.
Twinkle is the young isekai here. He's part of my intelligence team. And then
Hi.
who else came?
Lady Sonnet.
Oh, and then Lady Sonnet is part of my stealth team. Uh, yeah, we just got a bigger ship. There's a whole bunch of them that didn't come with me. I have like 22 of them now or something like that. I don't know. I haven't counted lately.
Rossif is like a bigger ship. Like how big, man?
Like freaking huge. And I give the classification and all of that. I'm like, oh, it's H class. I show him pictures on my phone.
Yeah, he like I think there's a moment where he and Jim look at each other, and this is about the time New he comes in, and she's like, ah, she's like, and she is also dressed very well and in very traditional Kasathan. And she's actually still she generally wears her Adada robes anyway.
Right.
Um,
It takes
uh,
another 10 minutes to say hello to her.
yep,
And
and
then I reintroduce everyone.
she's like,
Hi.
our butler will
Right?
have our staff will have dinner served momentarily, a traditional dish. I figured you might be. I thought you might appreciate a little taste of home after being gone for so long.
Mm. Nahir still did a quite excellent gruel that reminded me very much of home. But other than that, I haven't had much Kasathan food lately. Have you ever been to Bortzbooth and Bitches? They have the best gravy fries.
And Rossif is
And
like,
I laugh
I,
because I know they
yeah,
haven't.
yeah,
Oh,
Ro-
Ross, if you've been, kick
yeah,
ass.
yeah, he goes, last haul we made to Absalom Station, I stopped into, yeah, he's like, interesting, interesting atmosphere that. And I think I think we're gonna cut away real quick because I want to know. First of all, Serold, you and Harak and Kalith have managed to make it onto the Adari, and
But they were hard at
kind
work
of,
trying to find me.
yep. uh, and let's see uh, if you can make a some kind of roll to see if you can't find out the where Captain Volvetto is.
I'm doing a think right now.
You can do it.
We don't have society in this game, so I can't say can I roll society because we live in one.
You there's
Um,
culture.
yeah, but
Culture.
that's not close enough, and I don't have a lot of points in it, which makes me want to cry. Um,
I still love you.
I could try to diplomatize by basically going up to someone and be like, "Hey, where would a fucking pirate work? You know, like where did all the pirates go?"
Oh, well, you know at least by reputation about the red district, so
Well, let's get that
I mean,
rolled
go
and
ahead and
see if you.
roll, because, yeah, but I
Let's
would
let's
think
The diplomacy or
it is
culture?
the only bad place on the
uh,
Adari, technically.
if you're trying to
Well,
find
the
out
most
that
well
the
known.
red corridors, if you're trying to find out that the red corridors exist, because you forget it doesn't exist in every single reality that he's been to.
All right.
Um,
That's true.
and the or
Oh, that's
you can
hot.
roll the diplomacy to try. Ooh, cultures are good. That you they're like I think basically the it takes you a while of it's taken you quite a while of talking and looking around, but eventually somebody's like pirates. Because you won't find and like he's like you won't find any pirates around here, and the guy that he's the other Kasathan he's with is like, well, technically one, we don't talk about him. It's like
It
and
is of
they're
great interest to me and my compatriots that we find this person of which you do not speak. However, you do not speak of him, yet you have spoken of him at this moment.
yeah, we don't like to talk about exiles, dishonorable thieves and murderers. Because you want to go to the red district? He goes, you want to go to the red corridors? That's your funeral. He says, but even down there, you're not going to find many pirates. The only known pirate we've got on board is, well, you've seen the news. And he goes,
Indeed, it is that pirate that I am looking for.
like, and they kind of exchange looks. So like, I think he's docked over I think he's docked over in section 4242 A3.
I kind of nod to
Mm-hmm.
Harok because he seems to be my shadow man who goes and does all the sneaky shit.
I was like, but as to where he's at right now, as to where he is right now, could not tell you. Although I hope he stays far from me.
I will
Have
endeavor
a
to
good
make
son.
sure that that message is received by him. Good day, gentlemen. I must find my way to the red corridors.
So you're going to go to the red corridors, or are you going to go to? You're going to go to the red corridors, or are you
Yeah,
going
I'm
to go
gonna
to?
go to the red corridors, but I am sending Harok to go and spy on the ship.
All right. So you manage to make it into the red corridors, and you immediately realize that the red corridors here are kind of well. They are a big criminal back alley, like they are in a few other realities you visited. And they are the malcontents. And you kind of the malcontents, the artists, the thieves, the liars, the beggars,
It's Brooklyn.
and what have you. Um, but but yeah, they're kind of doing they're kind of as you're kind of looking around, like they look at you like, what the fuck are you doing here? In fact, there's at least one Kasathan that is like, you're in the wrong neighborhood, human.
I am precisely where I need to be. Though thank you for your
And
concern, Kasathan.
he's like, no, you're in the wrong neighborhood. And he looks at you and he's like, and he kind of and he kind of chuckles, and you now realize you're surrounded by several Kasathans.
I will
Oh,
advise all of you that this is a very, very bad mistake that you are making. If you wish to survive to the end of the night, you will leave. And you will
I
leave
would
now. And he, like, pulls back
yeah.
his poncho enough where they see he's already got his gun drawn. and ready. He's like,
Actually, they
"You will leave."
made you check your gun in like they did
Oh,
the crew of the Fire
uh,
Shrike.
can I roll to see if they actually did? Cause it's in a hidden compartment.
Unless your gun has the special property that allows you to conceal it, no.
Ah, no, it's just got the part, and then there's the hidden compartment in my armor. The folding grip.
The folding grip, and you have a hit. Okay, if you've got a hidden compartment in your armor, then you can make a sleight of hand check to see if you were able to keep it.
No, 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 no.
That's with a
Ah,
plus
Yeah.
7 to conceal the weapon.
then you do have it.
Yeah, fucking packing heat.
Right.
Yeah, they look like they all have knives in their hand, and they look at you for a minute, and and there's a moment where they're like, the lead one is like, "What are you doing here?"
I am here to find Captain Zyvo Veto. I will not leave until I have found Captain Zyvo Veto. It does not
They
matter how many of you must die that I find him.
they laugh and they're like, "Oh, you really have a death wish." He goes, "Oh, don't let us stop you from dying at his hands." He's got a small army of weirdos with him. They're like, don't know where he's at now, but he's definitely around. He was here probably an hour ago. Left.
Where was he going?
What, do I look like the man's travel agent?
No, you do not. However, you do look like the kind of scum and villainy that would be interested to know where a captain that you no doubt are envious of would be going.
He's like, look, he goes, you want to ask questions of somebody like Zyvo Veto, you find him yourself. Some of us have the common sense to stay out of the way, to stay out of that one's way. So you got any idea how many people he's killed?
Do you
Yeah,
have
what was
any
it?
idea how many people I have killed?
Yeah, but your name hasn't been plastered all over the news. People aren't throwing riots that you're around. Hell, we don't even know who you are.
And I prefer it that
Weirdo.
way.
He's like, and
So would I.
yeah, he's like, and he kind of looks at his group. He's like, come on, let's go. This weirdo's giving me the creeps. Plus, he's got a death wish, and they a mile long. And they're like, he's like, good luck finding your grave, human. As they walk, like one of them shouts at you as they're walking away.
Good luck pulling yourselves up from the depths of poverty.
Man, he's just on top of it with this fucking commentary.
My Harold, I
no.
love you.
There's
It's
a
so good.
You're gonna fit in so great on the Fire Shrike.
Just turns
There's
and looks
a-
to Caleb and is like, if he is not here, then he is back at the ship. I hope that Harak has not done anything to... Well, let us hope that he has not drawn ire or poor attention. Though he will do anything he can to keep that ship from launching without us.
yeah. So you're gonna head over to the docking area.
And then also,
Alright.
like, pause, look back at Caleb and be like, and you're welcome.
Caleb's like, oh no, I wanted to see how this one played out. They looked rather menacing.
Never bring a knife to a gunfight, especially when that gun is capable of launching slugs that could decimate anyone within close proximity.
You know, I heard an interesting story about not bringing a knife to a bear fight once. And
Wow.
he was,
You have
He's
been
like-
watching too many Hollow novels.
he goes, "Ah, oh, it's a pastime. You've got to admit, you're going to while away the boring hours on space flights somehow. I mean, the crew of this last ship was incredibly dull. All they did was work, work, work. They they couldn't even be bothered to take the time to explain to me where they're getting their hooch from. I assume it was being brewed on ship, but nobody wanted to talk about it. And it was the most interesting thing I could try to investigate.
Did it say
Unfortunately,
Captain's Eye original on it?
no. It wasn't Captain Zai's ship. And Zai
I
doesn't
can
And
know.
remember,
imagine.
Captain's Eye only has 2 kinds of liquor. Nurx has 5.
Yeah.
Oh, so it's the Nurx brand of alcohol, huh?
Nope, they didn't have that either because they haven't been in system for a while. So the Nurx Angleberry juice is kind of not many people
That's
have
another thing that Planet Xi needs is we need to set up a distillery so we can mass produce Zangleberry gin.
But
Yeah,
yeah, we're going to head our way back to um
I'm so excited
the
that you're almost here.
4242 AC.
okay. Yeah.
Free.
You go you manage to make your way there, kind of looking out the docking window. There are two ships out there. There is one that looks like a variation of the Fire Strike you've seen in other universes. And then there's just this massive freaking ship that's just that's there. Um,
Right, and since they knew it was us when we got here, we definitely switched back to our regular signs.
yeah, yeah,
So the words are in giant Van Halen style script, and
nice.
they look kick ass.
Yeah, he just walks into the fucking hangar bay like he owns the damn place, looking between
So
these two
Qualu
ships.
stayed, correct?
Yeah, Qualu's probably on the ship right now.
All right, and Rek would be there. So I don't know who would get there first, but I'm pretty sure that they noticed you immediately.
Oh yeah, he's
Well,
not making an effort to hide himself.
so you walk into the hangar bay. The workmen crews ignore you as you kind of walk towards the docking ports and whatnot. Maybe one of them looks up and looks at you for a minute and then realizes you're not a Kasathan and assumes that you're part of, probably assumes that you're part of Volveto's crew just because he doesn't have time to process and this is the only influx of
Yeah,
aliens
he's
right
like, I don't care about whatever that is.
now. You're like, yeah, they've been told to mind their business and their manners and either they will or they won't. Um, but yeah, I think the surveillance feed comes up and the surveillance feed comes up uh, and Qualu and in Qualu's like quarters or whatever. But do you just walk right over to the docking bay doors for one of these ships?
Yeah,
Yeah,
probably the
originally
bigger
I thought
one.
he meant he walked right onto the
Okay,
Blue Ember.
Yeah, I'm probably going towards the Blue Amber because I assumed that the
right,
captain would be in the biggest of the two ships because
right.
am big.
Right? That's how it works. The captain gets the bigger ship.
Well, I think yeah, you get to the door to the docking doors to the Blue Ember and what have you. And it isn't long before there it opens and there is an SRO with a rather large hail cannon and a Patra standing there with a ooze creature right behind them. The Patra is the one that speaks. Is like, can I help you? Do you have some business here, or or are you here as a What are you here for?
My name is Harold Silverchild. I am here to speak with Captain Zyvo Veto regarding an ongoing investigation. And before you draw your weapons, know that I do not work with the Pack World's authority.
And he goes, then what law enforcement agency do you work for? Surely your superiors have been given notice that there is a diplomatic immunity in place here for this ship and its crew and its captain.
I am not here
That
under
is,
any authority, but I have traveled through space and time itself for this meeting.
You have traveled
Diplomacy check.
you have traveled through space. That is a very unique thing. Time. He goes, really? You expect me to believe that you are traveling through time?
He holds out one of his hands and, like, with a snap, opens a very small, not very stable portal to an alternate dimension in it.
I think he looks at you and he goes. He's like, what investigation are you trying to? You know what? What company do you work for?
I work for myself.
Interesting. He's like, where are you from then?
Not from this dimension.
And Merch, I think you probably are aware that this is going on. Like you probably saw these three, Qualo and retinue
Yeah.
heading towards the docking doors.
Merch, at hearing that there is an investigation, is going to stay within his lab and continue to finalize his project on reorganize and standardize the experimental data that the Fire Shrike and Blue Ember and all the other ships have collected over this time. He doesn't want to deal with an investigator.
Yeah, and I think Qualo is like, that still does. He says that still does not preclude the possibility that you are seeking to harm the captain. And he says, you will wait here patiently. And he looks over at Rack and the ooze. The ooze is kind of sitting there and say, just kind of waiting. Doesn't seem to be holding any kind of weapon at the moment. But Rack, the SRO, looks at you and says, "You'll hold right here. Any attempt to board the ship will be met with lethal force per standing orders." And he says,
He actually probably looks to Rek with one of his brows raised, and he's like, "This is an interesting accent you have in this universe, Rek. In most timelines, it is not so homey."
"Right. Well, I'm still gonna have to ask you to stay put right here, and 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 let's hope we don't have us an incident. I'd sure hate to shoot anybody while we're here. I don't think our host would like it too much. My captain
Instant street
probably
cred.
would, but you know, the, the captain probably would, but I don't think our host would so
If it
much."
aids in smoothing over relationships, and he holds out, obviously, uh, not pointed at him, but holds out his gun to him, kind of like a "here, you can take this, so you know I'm not armed" sort of thing.
And Zai, Zai, Shaba, the two of you specifically get a message from Qualu that there is somebody at the ship, a human, calling himself Sorreled Silverchild, with two unidentified compatriots, that says they want to talk to you about some sort of investigation. They claim not to work for the Pact Worlds, and they claim not to work. They claim to work for them for themselves.
Hmm.
You want me to go check it out, Cap?
Eh, yes, because there's other story that I know needs to happen. That sounds like an excellent idea.
All right.
Okay. Yeah, I head back to the ships.
All right. You and while you're doing that, I'm going to flip over here real quick to Vesa and Xander.
Yay!
Hi.
Vesa, Xander, you are currently trying to ride out a radiation storm in the sort of like ramshackle buildings in the Dark Valley. Um, there is, let me get, first of all, I need to do a couple of things here. Do, 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 do. Where is it? Okay.
There's Scott.
Let's see.
Ah,
And
ah.
all right,
Really?
so I need some perception checks, and I'm
Okay.
going to make a couple as well, but I want to get yours for you, the two of yours first.
Oh, that's hot.
Ooh,
Hey.
Vesa.
Yeah.
Scott, don't you get
Nice.
a D6 added to that?
Not to every skill roll, and
Okay.
I don't
I thought it
think
was perception
perception's
was one
on
of
there.
them.
If he's
Only
like me, it's a sense motive.
Oh, okay.
there's probably one or two others, but I don't think perception is on that list. Otherwise, I don't know if he chose it or not. So I also need to roll some uh, stuff for them as well. That's him.
Hey.
And,
that's the Besk woman, correct?
nope, that's the Tafa is
He's
the
my Patra.
Patra. Yeah,
Ah, I apologize.
he's the Kravesh Patra. Awali is the female Patra, and Isaki. I mean,
So, isn't there a Skittermander as well?
yes. Thank you for reminding me. Plu is there also. And also need.
I need to know if Blue likes to cuddle because I love him.
I was gonna
Yeah,
say,
Plu's fine
technically,
with
he's an
that.
isekai.
He's all about it.
Good.
Yeah, he's all about it. He's like, uh, let's see, and get
No, you
Plu real
star.
quick.
Shame on me.
Currently, Squibble the Ejectiri is Ejectiri is kind of busy watching. Let's see. So,
Just realized I haven't spelled any of these people's names correctly in my notes.
Oh no, not even close.
Yeah.
let's
The
see.
gesture does not make phonetic names.
Okay.
Let's see. So Vesa, Tafa. So Vesa, like maybe you and Tafa about the same time as you're kind of like doing your thing. Tafa, like you see uh you catch movement scurrying around outside of the building just at the same time as Tafa seems to like seems to stiffen up. It's one of those things where you both notice it at the same time, and uh, maybe you notice that Tafa is noticing it, but he doesn't seem to really pay much attention to the fact that you have noticed it. Um, how do you react to this?
On
There
noticing
is,
it, go ahead.
yeah, um, just for a second, you, you see a very bizarre looking head, um, a creature that's scurrying on all fours, and it's got a very like spindly. The legs look a bit spindly and insectoid, and um, the head, what you can see of it, does not. It at first it almost looks humanoid, and then it turns, and you can see that it's got tendrils or something attached to the front of it. Not long, but just the just sort of like open up a little bit. Um,
Um, can I sense motive if they're like hostile? Is that a thing I could do?
You could potentially do that. You
Maybe a
if
life
you
science check.
Ooh, let's see. Oh, that's gonna be a shitty one, but I could do it if you want me to do that one.
It was just a
well, you can
suggestion.
do. I mean, you can do both. It's fine.
Okay. Um, let's do that one first.
Nice.
Right.
Okay.
And then this one's gonna be trashy.
That was
Told ya.
trash, but it wasn't a one.
It's
All right.
true.
So
So go ahead.
definitely hostile.
Okay.
They definitely hostile and appears to be trying to it appears to be trying to sneak up on you guys, and I believe.
Okay. So upon knowing that, I would like to pull out my Aphelion laser pistol and also uh oh, I want to telepathically mention it to Xander first and then
Okay.
see what happens. So I'm just like, yo, there's movement. It's not good. Do you have weapons? Are you, what do you want to do?
And I think,
This pistol, was that weapon enough for you?
I mean, yeah, pull that shit out, my dude. Let's go.
and there is and this is Tafa also like says he actually says something out loud. He's like he's like uh, trouble, and he looks over at a Wally, and he's like and he points out the out the window at one of the creatures, and Wally actually is going to. She looks for a second, pulls out like a kit, and takes a moment to takes a minute to look at it for a second, and she goes, "That is not good. We are Oracorans. They are native here, and I need to get initiative rolls from you guys because this is where all hell breaks loose."
Cool. Please bear with me during combat. This is my
Nice.
first time.
Go Scott. Go Scott.
I'm ready to shoot some things.
All right, so Xander, 24, 15 for Vesa. Where's their initiative? Okay. Team 6. And I'll get a Wally here. Damn. Wally's on point here. What about Tafa?
Oh, and when I was talking to Xander, could I have also
And
said that to Plu?
yeah, yeah, sure.
Eh, okay.
Let's see. Now, Chris, you know why I had to drag the laptop into the living room the other day.
Hmm.
Because I needed to finish stats for these guys.
Nope. I understand.
I'm terrified.
Some of this won't be terribly. G7 and Plu. wrong, Pluiga? There you are. Hyperactive little bat. Huh. Yeah, definitely hyperactive little bastard. So this is about the point in time where you start where you start seeing a great deal of there's a flash of like green lightning in the sky outside, uh, and you start hearing banging at the door. You know, lots of banging at the doors and what have you, as it sounds like something is like trying to break the door in and what have you. Um, your would-be captors from both sides seem to be pointing most of their attention that way. However, Xander, you're quick enough to notice that there are two of them that have managed to that appear to have managed to have already found their way through another entrance in the building somewhere. One of the other rooms you guys haven't explored yet or something. Uh, and one of them is coming, these Oracorans is coming. You can actually see two of them, uh, one of which is coming directly from the next room, while the others are trying to hold the door shut from the ones that are, or covering the door where there seems to be more trying to bust in. Um, what are you going to do here? They're coming right at you.
All right, I'm gonna point my gun at the door holder and shoot him.
You want to shoot one of the people holding the door rather than one of the things coming at you.
Well, he said somebody was holding the door open, so if it shuts it, it
No,
kind
they're
of
not
blocks
holding
it.
the door open. They're holding it shut. They're
Oh,
trying to hold the shut. They're trying to hold the door shut from whatever is trying to break in. There's two that are coming from some door in a different room that they must have found an entrance in one of the other rooms or whatever that are coming from behind. So most everybody's attention, if you think about it, if you think about it, like um, everybody's looking at the main door you guys came in, and that's where a lot of pounding is coming from. Like, and maybe like the maybe Squibble and Tafa are trying to hold that shut, while Bazik and Isaki and Awali sort of have that door covered. But there are two coming from behind that are not that are there's nobody between you and them.
okay, my bad. I misunderstood. Yeah, shoot the bad person.
Bad the Oracorns or one
Yeah,
of the
the ones that are in the room that are coming towards us from behind. I'm gonna turn around and shoot one in the face.
Okay. So go ahead and shoot at it. And at this distance, you can tell that they have like multiple eyes, and they have a proboscis. Um, what you looked at first like maybe tentacles is actually like the flaps of the mouth that just sort of go, as the proboscis shoots out and what have you. So go ahead and make your attack roll. 16. And what kind of weapon are you using? Well, it doesn't matter. You didn't. It didn't
Laser
hit.
pistol.
Yeah, you fire, and it goes and the thing skitters out of the way. Um, it jerks to the side. Uh, Plu and it go next, so we'll take care of Plu first. Plu's like, oh crap, oh crap. He's like, what do he? He's like, oh crap, those things look like, ooh, that's not good. And he pulls out like his Gelid Hail pistol that's actually made of Sikatite. Um, there's no bonuses to this. So he's just going to roll flat. And misses. like and shards of ice go like little pellets of ice go flying everywhere at this thing, and it's like, oh, it is going to it's going to projectile vomit at you, Xander.
Gross.
Yeah, more than just gross, but what is your EAC?
23.
Okay. That does not hit you. You manage to jump back out of the way as it like what the ichor that it spits out of it that it spits out like hits the ground and makes a vague hissing sound. Let's see. From there, it goes to Vesa.
Yeah, I want to
Vesa,
shoot this fucker.
all right. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna go to you're gonna go on your character sheet and you're gonna
Yeah.
go down to scroll down and you're gonna go to the attack steel.
I'm there.
All right, and there should be a little dice button next to your weapon, and you'll just hit that, and it should auto roll everything for you.
It
It'll do
asks if I
exactly.
have. Well, it asks if I have any modifiers, and I do. It does say boost 1d4, but I
Um,
don't
so
remember what that was.
So boost is a special ability, and plus, and you can do more than just attack here too.
Okay.
Remember, you do have special abilities that you can draw upon.
Right.
You can also, and this is goes for you as well, Xander. You both have envoy abilities that you can call upon to help yourself out. In particular, things like get 'em or improved get 'em or whatever are probably pretty good here also because that would allow for bonuses to hit uh, and only
Okay.
cost you a move action. And you get a
Okay.
standard action, a move action, you know, and free actions. But you get so you could technically, and how it works is firing a weapon or casting most spells is going to be a standard action.
Okay.
But there are a number of your abilities that will be noted down as move action or standard action, depending on telling you like what kind of action it's going to take for you to do it. So theoretically, if you wanted to, I believe get them and improve get them as a move action, you could potentially be like, I'm going to designate this first Oricoran, and I'm going to say get him, and you and all of your allies will get a plus to hit him
Okay.
until the beginning of your next turn.
And I can
Uh,
also spend a resolve to hit all the targets with a +2.
yes, you can.
So
Very
let's
good.
start with improved get 'em. And
Okay.
if that's considered a move, can I still shoot my pistol?
Yes, because you
And
get a
do
move
I
action
also
and a standard. So
cool? And I want to spend a resolve so that all targets, if we hit all targets, everybody gets a +2. And does that mean that I also give myself a +2 when I shoot my
that is
pistol?
that is absolutely correct. So when you
Fucking
go to roll your
cool.
pistol, it'll ask if you have any other bonuses, and you can put that in there.
Okay. So um the
Ooh.
boost 1d4, that's not with this though, right?
So let's take a look at boost here real quick, because I don't think I've ever had anybody use a weapon with boost on it before. So
Sorry, it was
this is
just a note
something
I
where,
had.
oh, no, it's fine. It's fine. If your weapon has abilities, you can use them. I'm not going to stop you.
Cool.
But this is a thing where maybe we all get to learn a little something here. Uh, let's see. I'm still in armor here. Boost, darts, flare, staff, looking for the special abilities here.
Resolve goes
Arc,
down.
bleed, burn, corrode, reach, sniper, throw, quick reload. Where is boost? Boost. You can charge a weapon with this special ability as a move action. When you do, you increase the weapon's damage by the amount listed on the next attack you make with the weapon.
Okay.
Boosting weapon expends a charge from the weapon equal to its usage value. This increases the weapon's damage and is multiplied on critical hit. Boosting a weapon more than once before firing it doesn't have any extra effect. The extra charge dissipates if the weapon is not fired by the end of your next turn. So basically, what this does is since you only get one move action per turn,
Hmm.
that you know, and one standard, is you could essentially choose to you could you can either choose to try to boost your damage up and boost the weapon with that move action and then fire, or you can be using your get 'em and firing the weapon. So it's
Okay.
more so it becomes a question of do you want to try to do more damage or do you want to have an easier time hitting? Which, by the
Yeah.
way, you did hit.
Excellent.
So
And then just to confirm, my improved get 'em only works for 1 round.
yep, it lasts until the beginning of your next turn. So
Gotcha.
Xander,
Okay.
you'll get the bonuses for that as well on your turn. Um, and this is one of those where you and Xander could probably trade off too, because unless he has a boost weapon, he could. I think he's got get him as well. And that's the thing you guys can work out amongst yourselves how you want to do that tactically.
I see him shaking his head no.
No, he's saying no. I don't want to do that. Let's see. From there, the second one enters the room, and it is going to. And now I need to get back to that real quick here. I lost my place in the book. That's not a good thing. Don't lose your place. Don't lose your place in the book. There we are. We'll just put that there to mark it. And the second one comes into the room, and it is going to. It's also going to. Ooh, might help if I'm actually down in the box. It's going to attempt to throw up at you.
At who?
What is your EAC?
Me or Xander?
You.
Okay. 23.
Okay, so that hits. So that's gonna do. Slash R 1d10 6. So
That's in my SP, right?
it's
Not
gonna
my HP.
do. Yep. It's gonna be 12, and
Gross.
it damage goes off of your SP before it goes off of your HP.
Okay.
And stamina points work a little like if you've ever watched a movie and you've heard and you see the action hero, he gets in a fight and he gets roughed up a little bit, and at the end of the fight he takes a few minutes and then he goes into the next fight and he gets roughed up a little bit. And then stamina functions as that sort of like not really like lethal damage. It covers things like you use a little extra energy trying to dodge back out of the way a little bit,
Hmm.
or you sprain your ankle, or pull a muscle or something. It's so that's kind of narratively, or maybe it like fucks up your armor a little bit.
Okay. I'm here for
It's
it.
just sort of wearing on your defenses.
Yeah.
However, this thing does have one other thing. I need you to make me a saving throw, and it needs to be a will save. So give me a will save with
Okay.
a. Oh, bam! You nailed
Bam.
it. Yeah, nailed
I was
that
like,
hard.
fuck you. This isn't happening right now. I'm mad
For a
about it.
for a minute, you see tracers, but it's gone almost as fast.
So I
Like
tripped
you
balls
kind
for
of
a
shake
sec.
for half a second. You're
Cool.
like, oh shit! Like, whoa, hold on, that's no. um, Started to feel your senses becoming a bit unmoored for a second, and we are back to the top of the round. Xander, your move.
Okay, Spit Boy here. I'm going to invoke Not in the Face,
Okay.
which is a move action. Choose one enemy within 60 feet, and the enemy must succeed at a will save or take a -4 to all its attacks for the next turn, the end of the next turn.
So what's the DC on that saving throw?
I don't know.
So let's go. It should be 10 plus half your level plus your charisma modifier. So that's usually the math behind these things.
Down.
So that would be 18.
18? Okay. So let's go. So he's going to make a. Oops. Passes. And is that a standard action or is that a move action for you?
That was a move action. As the regular
Okay.
one, I'm going to try to shoot him again in the face.
For your standard action, all right. Go ahead and make that attack roll. Boom! That was a good roll. And are you shooting the one that Vesa hit, or are you shooting the other one?
The one that attempted to vomit on me.
Okay. So that would probably be the other one. So we're looking at actually this one's 3, 3. Nice. Yeah, you shoot him and like it scorch him on like sort of across his back as he skitters around. Then we're to 19. Let's see.
Did you add in your
What?
+2?
Oh, he's got it.
Cool. Sorry, I'm very excited.
Yeah. Do you that improved get him is a good fucking thing right there.
Fuck yeah, it is.
Alright, let's see. For Plu, what is Plu gonna do here? Plu's got some abilities he can use as well. Oh, you know what? Plu, you know what? That's nah. I think at this point he's probably going to. What he's gonna do is he's just gonna shoot. He's got he's got abilities, but I think he's a little. Uh, I think he's like a little high strung at the moment. That's not enough to hit. He fires out these hail of of ice crystals again, and it doesn't. Again, he misses. Like, uh, he's like not very good at this. I don't think. Maybe. Oh, wow, shit. Whoa. And it's going to the one that was trying to go after you, Xander, is also going to go again. Let's see, does it have a standard? Okay. Yeah. Spits another thin stream of vomit at you. Pretty sure 30 is enough to hit. Xander, you take 11 points of damage, sizzling and acidically, and I need a will save from you as well. Bam. Doing good. Yeah. You see, kind of funny tracers for a minute, but you come out of it. Um, and then that goes to Vesa.
Okay. When do I get to use? Can I use get 'em again if I don't move?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, you sure can.
So I don't see the need to move, I think, at this time. So I'll
Right.
throw out an improved get 'em, um, and spend another resolve for
Yeah.
all targets. Um, and I'm gonna shoot the same guy thing that I shot before. And give me a second. Okay,
That's enough to hit.
cool.
13. All right. So that would be. All right. Awesome. Yeah.
Cool.
And then it's going to try again on you.
Fesa is sour. Like, this is bullshit. Yeah, that hits me.
All right. So. That's 16 points, and give me a will save.
Okay. Oh no.
Ooh. So, let me do a roll here. 1d4. And you are going to be hallucinating and confused for 2 rounds. So for the next 2 rounds, you're going to be confused. And I need to look at the spell here real quick. That way I can accurately tell you exactly what that means.
Okay.
I have a feeling that means she's gonna shoot me in the arm.
I mean, I'll try not to. But if you come at me looking like the predator, I might.
Acts as.
I am tripping balls. That's what I'm doing right now.
Yeah, you are. That is exactly what you are doing. Cosmic Eddy. Corrosive Haze. Control. Fusion. As per confusion. So, what that means is for the next 2 rounds, let's see. Let's see. For the next 2 rounds, you're going to act very randomly. There is a chance you could act normally, but
Okay.
there's other things that that could happen to you here that you could do.
Okay.
But as our situation starts to look relatively grim, and let's ratchet the tension up here because I'm gonna say that this is about the time with more Aura Korans start pounding through. You manage to bust through the door, flinging Toffa and Squibble back a little bit as they, grab their weapons, and Bazik pulls out his shadow chains and starts roaring. The big Vesk just going insane here, and and we kind of see that they're not there. There's more than a few Auricorns out here, but we're gonna drop the out of this right out of the middle of this tension here and leave you on a cliffhanger as we go back over to as we go back to the Adari and we go back to Serold and Shaba. So, Shaba, you managed to make it back down you managed to make it back down to the blue ember, and you see and you see Rek standing there at the at the docking doors on uh, s- specifically on the blue embers side of the docking doors.
Okay.
I mean, he is still Rek. He's not going to walk on the station with weapons when they've been told not to. Isn't nobody ever told him he couldn't fire from the doorway of?
No, nobody did.
But um, but there's a human flanked by a couple of humanoid creatures with him. Uh, you can choose to make life science or mysticism checks to see if you know what these other creatures with him are.
Before
These
I do
other
that,
people.
I look at Rek. I give him like the 1 moment sign. Walk onto the fire Shrike and actually get out of my dress and into my armor. And walk out.
Yeah, Serold, you see this tall Verthani woman walk up, walk by Rek, go to the other docking door, go in, come back out, and wearing armor. Um,
Huh.
and yeah,
Just get that,
Uh,
like, the look on Cyril's face as he's just like, I don't get it. But then again, I don't get most things, so.
yeah. Kalis looks over and goes, "Oh, tall, very tall. Is interesting.
Tall.
Is
Is that your
Tall's an
Oh, sure.
understatement.
is that your type, Calith? Tall.
he goes he goes, well, I don't know if I could be said to be having a type per se. I don't know.
They
He goes,
all say that.
Yeah,
and,
that
Yeah,
is
they
what
do.
they all
and he
say.
goes, and he
But
just kind of it's like he's just kind of like, are we meant to be intimidated?
well, I will do that life science roll now.
Okay. All right. Okay. So the one that spoke, you have identified as a the fuck is it the race called actually?
As a, what the fuck is he?
Sorry, I'm having a brain fart and I forgot what the race is
No,
actually
that's just
called.
funny when even the DM's like, wait, what is he?
He's a Svartalvar. He's a Shadow Fae.
Okay. Do I have an idea about the other one?
Make me a roll on that one. I was gonna say for either of these, a mysticism check would probably work well. He's a Kyle. He is a descendant from shadows as well. But his type was more descended from humans that lived on the plane long enough, the shadow plane long enough to just sort of interbreed and become sort of a hybrid race of their own. Um, so both of these people with this human are descendant from shadows in some way. And from what you know of Svartalvars, they're tricksters. They have a bit of a. They're tricksters, and they're known for their grace, their lethal, uncanny grace. Also known to be quite intelligent. Uh, Kyles are known to be very, very, very stealthy and hard to hit sometimes.
Nothing that a fireball can't handle.
Dodge this. Filthy casual.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and there's
And then there's the human.
and then there's the human, and the human seems to be the one in charge. The other two, the Kyle clearly is deferring to him. The Svartalvar you get the impression that he'd probably do either more or less at this point. If he'd either you don't feel like he would necessarily have a particular stake in the game here. The one that seems to be looking for something is the human, especially given the text message is like, hey, there's a human asking around. It's got investigations and blah, blah, blah.
Hmm. So I'll just a human. How can I help you?
Yeah, the human turns, nods at you. Very strange looking human with silvery hair and foggy gray eyes, as he's like, "Finally, it is good that we are meeting. Or have we met before, perhaps, in another time, in another place? Regardless, I am Sarald Silverchild, and I am here under an investigation. My contacts believe that it is necessary that I speak with Captain Zyvo Veto, and he is here, is he not?"
He is busy at the moment and asked me to come to find out what it is you need to talk about. He will be here later.
I believe that the captain will be interested to know that the Greys told me to find him.
1 second.
I'm sorry, guys. The life of a pirate captain is busy. And I answer the phone. Yes, Shaba.
So they're here about the Greys.
Oh,
You may want to come quicker than later, but I'll leave it up to you.
interesting. Well, in that case, why don't you invite them into the galley and feed them, and I'll be there shortly. But you don't have to cook.
Don't confuse me. You don't have to cook. Just feed them.
Trust me, you don't want her cooking. That's not her specialty.
No.
No, no.
Unless you want her
but-
to cook something up in a lab, then that's a different story altogether.
Shaba, we need to cook.
Instant brownies.
Oh, those would be special brownies.
Probably.
All right, but yeah. So
And I
Okay.
think, yeah. And I think, Merch, what are you like? You're on the ship, and are you watching this through
Yes.
through?
Absolutely,
surveillance?
yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, and in fact, once Shaba seems to have a bit of a breakaway moment, Merch is going to message Shaba and ask if he could have a meeting to introduce himself.
Oh, I get to speak to the little cucumber.
You do, yeah, he's a little radish boy.
Nice.
I saw the picture. Yeah, the head does look like a radish.
yeah. And also he would say he would recommend to meet in the science lab.
Okay. So I lead the 3 guests to the galley
All right.
and say, help yourself to what's ever here. The captain will. He might have left by now. Or within the next few
He's like-
minutes.
I think Kayla's probably asked, do you happen to have any caramel cappuccino around?
that would be actually a rec question since he's in the room.
And Rek is the coffee man.
Yes, Freck is
he
the
probably
coffee
is part
connoisseur.
coffee machine.
I'm not sure, but Rek here would be able to answer that question. He is our coffee connoisseur.
And Rick is like, cappuccino. That's one of them fancy drinks, isn't it?
My compatriot
right.
is nothing if not a connoisseur of fancy drinks.
Then it's a good place for him to be. We have lots of fancy drinks.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess I get Merch's message by now.
Yeah.
Well, if you will excuse me, I have to go deal with another crew member, but I will be back.
All
We will
right.
be here doing fancy drink things.
I look at the other two. Does he always talk like this?
Yes, he's very clinical, I guess, in the way that he. It's very precise. It's helpful investigations, not quite so endearing and personal conversations, if you will.
He just kind of looks over to Caleb with this look that's kind of like, I'm right here.
Yeah, Caleb just smiles at you like shit-eating grin.
It's a nice change to someone actually talking in an analytical tone. It's been a while.
Mispronunciation is to be avoided when one is a spellcaster.
Oh, that brings a little smile to her face. I think we'll need to talk later.
It seems that I have many
Compare
reasons to talk.
notes. Yeah, let's compare notes. Anyway, I'll be back, and I go look for merch.
All right. Yeah, he's not hard to find. He's in
Yeah.
the science lab where he told you he'd be.
Just follow
Yeah.
the insidious German laughter.
coughs.
Is it just merch, or is his dark mysterious friend there too?
Jerktazal is probably in there helping him do some finalization on the organization in the computer. But like whenever you walk in, he spins around and goes, "Ah, just the woman I was looking to see. Nurse, if you would be so kind, I would need a moment alone with our new friend. Would that be all right?"
Yeah, she nods. Of course,
And
Doctor.
she's a dark elf?
Yar.
Drow elf.
Oh,
Mm-hmm.
She seems very
Da-da-da-da.
she seems very calm and composed, but there is something that there is something fairly kind of hungry beneath the surface, maybe. But it's like, as you wish, Doctor. And
She's hungry like the wolf.
exits.
Mm-hmm.
I give her the up and down. I was like, okay.
Yeah.
Da-da-da-da.
And then I look way down.
Well, I'm not on the floor. I'm on a service drone, so it's more like you look medium down. About the same height as Sleph at this moment. Convenient.
I look down and it's like,
Yeah.
let me let me sit down. That might be better. For my
If
neck.
that... And he's like, if that makes you more comfortable, whatever you need to become a more at ease interlocutor. It is a pleasure to meet you, by the way, Shabayan. I have heard many tales of your exploits, both on and off of the ship. I respect your work quite a great deal.
And what work would you be implying?
Well, you are a prodigy, a prodigy of sciences. You, even looking at the history of your work on the Fire Shrike through these notes, even limited access notes that I've had access to, you seem to be very well composed when it comes to your scientific method, and I respect the efficiencies that you put forward whenever you are conducting your experiments or tests on hypotheses. These are all very good and straightforward. Plus, the Heck has records of your combat, and as far as I can tell, you are a very difficult combatant to deal with when on the wrong side.
They must have caught me in my lucid moments.
I
love
and he,
Straight up
yeah.
admission.
And he's like, I have also heard of that, and am interested. Have you ever tried any of my products? I invented such things as Vibe or Diamond, Flare, Chrono, Epiphany, Flashbang, Enigma. Are you familiar with any of my work?
Not that I can say. We have been out of system for a while.
Well, if you like, I would more than happy to let you be intimately familiar with my work. I have complete codexes on all of my recipes and methods on making them, but even though you are a woman of science, I know that some fields might not interest you. I can simply whip something up for you if you like.
God. I love
Wow, I have my own chemist.
That is correct. To be perfectly honest with you, you were one of the main reasons I took out the fire shrike.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm. You and of course the illustrious captain, a pirate who has become a landed noble of sorts. Very intriguing tale.
You could say that. I'm not sure if it's an official title yet, but I'm sure if you mention it, he'll just take it on anyway.
Right, I understand. Men of action are certainly the architects of the future. However, they always need advisors, no? And Merch is probably going to pull out a small amount of lux to see that he has saved from the drone and offer it.
But how much is it?
I mean, it's just a couple lines worth, nothing crazy.
2 doses.
Yeah, 2 doses.
2 doses? Okay.
Mhm.
But it is a color of purple that we've never had before. It is a unique.
Yes.
Yeah,
It's
it's
only 2
awesome.
doses.
It's
haven't
more
tried it.
glimmery.
More glimmery. Oh,
Yeah.
interesting.
Everything appears to be chemically perfectly
Mike.
pure.
Mike.
Yes.
Breathing Mike.
Oh,
Who is eating their
breathing?
microphone?
is that the captain? There we go. Perfect. I thought you were yelling at me, and I was like, ah!
No, sorry.
But yeah, no,
Microphone.
MIC.
this is all like lab pure stuff.
It's pure.
Well, she looks around the lab like, draws up a line and
Yeah. Okay. It's good. I mean, I made a fantastic check making that. I think I rolled a nat 20 on it, so.
Look at she's just getting relaxed now.
Yeah.
That's better.
Yeah. And I'm like, so the purpose of this meeting is twofold. One, I wanted to make the acquaintance of the legendary Shaba, and of course, may explain my own position as to why I'm here on this ship, which is, of course, money. But two, I did want to speak to you about a few things.
And that may be.
Well, you are both. At one point, you were the head researcher on this ship, and you are also now head of intelligence. Is that correct?
Yes.
So, in organizing the bulk of the data I was allowed to access, I found that I could fairly easily put it all in a consistent framework. But I feel that I know I am only been on this ship for maybe a week, maybe 2, but I feel that my talents could be utilized more even in this small clerical setting. If I were to be able to, of course, under strict surveillance or redaction, set the other more classified files on this ship under a better format, it would be easier for all of us to have a scientific standard and make it more efficient to conduct research upon the ship.
And exactly which files would you want access to?
That is the question for you. I do not know the full breadth of the Fire Shrike. I know that you are currently working with some sort of cloning issue. I've been given access to physical materials, but none of the data research behind it. And I feel that there are further records that I am not even aware of. The clandestine nature of this ship is, of course, important, but as someone as myself who has ambitions to be a firebrand leader of scientific progress within these hallowed halls of, oh, who am I kidding? Within this research station that does not exactly have to follow that many ethical compunctions, I feel I would need further information. Potentially a full clearance or a limited full clearance.
That I will bring up with the captain.
Certainly, certainly.
What do you plan to do with it?
Well, organize everything. And the captain does currently have me doing some research on the cloning issue. I do not have any direct directives at the moment. I was kind of told to do whatever. And not disparaging the captain, but I understand the less scientific minded may not know exactly how to point a tool such as myself in the right direction.
Ouch.
Maybe you have further influence on which way you would wish for my research to go. If you like, I could share some of the projects that I have been saving up until I've had a lab to work within with you.
Yes, let's go over some of your research. It
Of
might help me
course.
convince the captain to let me release some more files to you.
Of course. I have Project Phoenix, Project Embalsamarian, and Project Lawson at the moment that I wish to work on. Each of them are fairly innocuous and helpful to the crew in different ways. Phoenix is essentially a project that I wish to, well, be able to improve our chances of surviving deadly encounters with other creatures or groups, and also would specialize in body recovery and reconstruction. In Bom Samirin would be a lesser funded project that I would need, mostly designed around fallen comrades still serving use and potentially even fallen enemies. And Project Lotion is all about memory and how one could potentially manipulate or even eradicate certain memories for the purpose of clandestine operations, conversion to crew, or even wider reaching implications if you so wish to desire to draw them.
And I'd like to give a little fade out here as you guys are discussing this. So I want to touch base with Twinkle real quick before we call for the night. Twinkle, well,
Mm.
you're kind of well. All of this is going on, and there's so much, and Shaba is running off, and there's messages going back and forth. Rasif kind of strikes up a conversation with you, and he kind of asks you a bit about like first, he asks you about the details surrounding like Nahir's death. Uh, trying to get further information and what have you. Uh, and he kind of is asking you kind of quite a few questions. Let me get a sense motive roll from you because I want to see if you're pick up on something here.
Sense motive, huh?
Yeah. Yeah.
Let's see what happens. Well.
Holy crap.
Nice.
Fuck yeah. You
This has
pick
been
up on
fucking
like
great
while
day.
all of this stuff is going on, like you're having this conversation that seems like it's super background with Rasif, where he's basically and he's very sort of like got like a presents himself. You can tell like he's very blue collar in the way that he goes about things, but there's also something a little bit clandestine going on. He's very clearly trying to get an opinion out of you about like what you think Zai thinks of the political situation that's going the on the Adari, like specifically like what he thinks of. He's trying to get out of you what Zai thinks about like the people who don't want to just remain in this continuous orbit, that want to do something else, that are just kind of tired of being stuck here. They don't want to legally like you're the more you like get the more questions he asks you, and the more like he kind of like expounds on like various thises and that's, trying to kind of draw stuff out of you, like your opinion, the captain's opinion, and what have you. You're getting the feeling that because he asked about the graffiti too, like if you understood what was written on the wall, if do you understand Kasathan? Can you read and write Kasathan?
Well, Twinkle. Well, so for one, Twinkle does not actually know Kasathan.
Okay, so
Uh,
yeah,
so yeah, he's not going to be. Well, let's actually hold on. Oh, actually, he does, but he's going to pretend he doesn't. Um,
yeah, he's like he says he's like all those I'm starving, are you hungry, all of that. See, it's all about fulfillment, and people that are unfulfilled. And there's just a slight catch in a second, like anybody else might have missed it, but there's just like a slight glance over at Jem and to some extent Nuhi as well, but more towards Jim. Like there is something unspoken, and the word unfulfilled, and all of this discussion about like people who don't want to just like stay around. There's something that's pointed coming to this. He's pussyfooting around it. He is not. He is beating around the bush. But there's something he has not been upfront about like what's going on with him and potentially with Jim as well. And because there's kind of like, and
so noticing this, Twinkle would probably, okay, so I may not be picking up on a lot of the intricacies of Kasathan politics and all that, but I can sense the hesitation. If there's something going on, if you've got something going on, I'm not even saying say it to me, but talk to the captain. He is going. He's the closest thing you got to a pulse, at least when it comes to him. So just don't be afraid to ask him. And well, eh, if if you don't want to talk to him, what? All right, I cut this shit. What's going on?
and this is probably about the time that Azai, you've gotten the message and you're probably heading out to go check on what's going on. And we can't hear you on stream. Just,
How about now?
there you go. All
Mm,
right. Yeah, so this is about the time you're getting ready to like get up and head off and what have you.
right.
Uh,
It takes 10 minutes for us to do the goodbye.
and I think Nuhi probably explains to you that like if you have business to attend to, that your friends are welcome to stay and eat. Your friends, of course, are guests, and if you are heading off to take care of business, I hope that you will be back soon. But in the interim, your friends are more than welcome to stay and have something to eat. Dinner will be ready here shortly.
Right? I am so sorry that duty calls and I must leave. I
But
will try to get back with you before we have to leave in the morning.
so she's like, we'll serve some appetizers for now. We'll try to hold the cook off as long as possible. And please do let us know if you'll be returning for a full course dinner or not.
I'll try.
And yeah, but this is like when Zai when like uh and let Twinkle unless you speak up to Zai or something.
Well, he's actually taking a
Remember,
small.
Twinkle, you have a headband on. You can just think at me.
Yeah,
I could, but here's the thing: you have busy things to go do, and that's Twinkle's mentality. No,
and Twinkle is part of the intelligence division, so
yeah, he's like, I can handle this, and then when that happens, I can prove my worth. Yeah, this isn't going to go well, but he's going to so take a slip a small piece of paper to Oh God, I've forgotten his name already. I'm bad at
Rostov.
this. Yes,
Russell.
it's going. It has Twinkle's private information on there,
Hmm.
and just you know, if this is something he needs to know, if this is something we need to know, there's no harm in just sending a message, is there?
Is he kind of thinks for a minute. And he's like, yeah, well, sure. He goes, and he says, he like Zai walks out and he kind of looks around and he says, have you ever heard of the and he stops himself and like Jim looks at him and he stops himself and he goes, just let's just say some people around here are unfulfilled. And
Mm, I'm not going to get the meaning of that, but okay.
yeah, uh, however, I think your sense motive role here is good enough. Like, cause you is good enough. You're kind of like, oh, hey, I was kind of paying attention before. Um, that was, you're knowing to look for the social cues here. Um, and as soon as he says that, like, you notice that Jim makes a it makes it a point to enter the conversation. And he goes, ah, he says, and tonight he says, and I believe my sister has some appetizers ready for us. Some they are they're straight from the gardens.
Ah,
Did you know we have an excellent nature preserve on the Adari? Most people don't realize that we can keep such a beautiful arboretum within the context of a generational ship such as this. But we've learned
just
to make
filler.
it. Yeah,
Filler.
he, he's basically making small talk to like draw attention away from the fact that to draw attention away from like the conversation that Rossif was having with you, uh, and what have you. And I think maybe that's where we're going to kind of fade out. And with what is the look on? Maybe we'll like get the tight shot of Twinkle's face, like as like the conversation is going, like the camera sort of zooms on Twinkle's face. And what's the look on your face as you're sort of like processing this information that like there's something going on here?
So, even after the second time, it doesn't really click until the conversation is cut short, and he's like, "Oh, oh, oh, God! All right, I should have called the captain."
Yeah, and there's awesome. and that's kind of where we fade out. And we'll do
Shit.
sign offs. And we'll do everybody send me your player's choice votes. And I will have one end credit scene after you guys like do sign offs. But let's start our sign offs with let's start them off with Brian. Because Brian.
Because Brian. Oh wow.
Yeah.
Hey, sure. Anyway, I am Brian. I played Shaba Young today. Intelligence officer, captain of the Fire Shrike. I don't know if that was a good idea again, but we'll see how this one goes. Might be a little better at it. Um, yeah. Tuesday. It's moves to Sunday. Weird. I'm down to just 2 areas this time. And Cosmos, well, I didn't make it this week, and it's up in the air about this weekend coming, but I'll let you know, Cyrus. But yeah, you can find me playing either Mara Swiftwind or there's a new character I have made up that I haven't introduced yet, but could be interesting because it's the bigger cousin of a goblin. And
You talking about a kobold? Or not kobold,
A
hobgoblin?
bigger cousin.
a hobgobby.
Kobold.
It's a hobgobby.
Yay.
A kobold. Kobolds are related to dragons. Get it right.
Yeah, I misspoke.
Right.
Yeah, that's okay.
The weakest of
Yeah.
dragons, kobolds.
So, yeah, that's pretty well it for now. Until something new comes up and I'm able to play. But yeah, that's it.
All right. Xander, why don't you go next?
All right, I'm Scott. Site, whatever. Pick a name. I don't care. I played Xander, and yeah, we're fighting something that likes to spit. Not a big fan, but whatever. I'll still shoot him in the face. Anyways, what are we on Monday? That one's gone. So Wednesday when we do Hinch to Minch, I'm gonna be playing Knight. And yeah, that's interesting. Say nonetheless. I did my shopping for the week. I think I'm good for a while. I'm not sure. I might need more snack cakes. I've been eating those things regularly. We'll see. Um, Holy Kerfubles. Then we come back to Saturday. We do Flesh and Fire in the Apocalypse World. I am played Jake, who should have stayed in the car and drove, but he decided to be smart and jump out, and then now he's unconscious on the ground somewhere, and nobody has a clue where he's at. If we ever get to Legion Class Wrestling, I'm going to be playing manager Adam Mason. He's a manager of Bear the Boulder Breaker. We're going to get Bear some title shots. And then when we get around to Belle's the Menagerie on Sunday, I play I can't even say my own name. Chess, which is a bug chick, but not millions of bugs, just one bug looking chick. I don't know. I got antennas. I can cause fire. That's all I know. And I think that's it. Yeah.
All right. Awesome. Awesome. Let's go on to Avesa.
Okay, so hi, I'm Amy Gedden, and played here tonight with these cool cats and kittens. Nope, there's no kitten, just cats tonight. And we're fighting, and I'm super excited, and I don't really know how to handle it. And now I'm tripping balls, and that's super fun. You guys, I'm tripping so hard. I'm excited about it. Okay, it's the first time I've been able to in a while. So that's all I play currently. However, things are maybe interesting in the future. I don't know. We'll see. It just depends on how many people get together to do things. Yay, vagueness. Okay, bye.
All right. Let us go. Let us go to Twinkle, to Cyrus.
Hi, how are you? Sorry, excuse me. My name is Cyrus Smith, and you just saw me playing Twinkle, the isekai who is almost as dense as the person running him, because it's like, okay, so wait, are you saying you're doing? Oh, you're afraid of something. I don't know what that is, but we're gonna find out. Unless that's exactly not what's going on, in which case Twinkle is more dumb than his creator. No. Let's not put that off on him. It's me. It's me that's too tired to too tired to focus. Just kind of like, okay, what's going? Yes, Captain, help. Um, you can also find me. Let's see, Wednesday. Yeah, no, I'm not running that show. That's that's not my band of misfits. Although I am one of those misfits on Wednesdays in Hinch to Minch, where I will be playing Acer, the telepathic sniper who. What happened last time? I think we.
Water girl.
That's right. She shot Billy Badass, and that was not a smart decision. But she did it and didn't get arrested for it. She probably should have gone for the head, though. You can also find me on, let's see, RIP Thursdays. You can also see me on Saturdays. If we're going to be doing Apocalypse World, where I'll be October Sky. The Skinner, who has just now realized this was a bad idea. I should get back in the car. Oh, the car's already gone. Shit.
Oops.
Beef, help.
Sorry, I'm a sardine in a can right now.
Help.
No, you're trying
Mama's
to get the
got red
sardines out of
crayon
the can.
for you. You can also find me on Sundays running Tales from the Cosmos, where a band of intrepid adventurers. Apparently, traps don't mean what they used to, because we're just tripping them left and right and center,
And then shoving people down them.
Yeah, and then the DM was not considering the fact if you put trap holes in the floor, anyone can fall down those trap holes, and it's really easy to shove people in Pathfinder 2nd Edition. Not just another thing he did not account for. So, well, what you gonna do? Build better dungeons. That's me.
Alrighty. Jay Nightheart.
Hi ho, friendos. My name is James, otherwise known as Nightheart, and you've caught me here today playing Sarald Silverchild, who's so goddamn close to being part of the crew of the Fire Shrike. I can almost taste it. But the captain is too busy doing his impression of Wide Putin walking down the hallway to get his ass on the boat so that I can talk to him. On Wednesday, I am in Hinged Mensch, where I play Martyr, who spent most of last session in a car trying to catch up to all these assholes who have cool powers that let them move really fast or teleport, and I'm just like, God damn it, I'm in the car. Me. So, he didn't do a whole lot, but his friend's going off to get some poontang, so he's just going to get his friend's car for the night, and he's going to wreck that shit. Fun. And on Saturday, depending on Saturday, I'm either in one of many different Jester's grab bags, where you can find me in the last episode of A Spark of Fate, where I play Marin Farcaller, the boring all-human sorcerer with the not-so-boring fairy pretending to be a fruit bat named Zamzam.
Hello, Zamzam.
Zamzam.
Fine.
And on Sundays, I am part of that band of Trepid Adventurers, and I was the one who was like, holy ground, give guy push. And
yeah, I don't think you out of anyone should be talking.
And then found out that it's just as easy to do it to player characters, so this entire combat has just turned into a fucking clown shoes of stop shoving me, now you. Back and forth. Occasionally someone falls down a trapdoor. Occasionally, because of my very, very bad rolls, the DM has to send the hand of God to save me. Deus Ex DM Machina. And I think that's everything I'm in. Yes.
Alright.
Well, I'll be back later.
Alright. Captain. We cannot hear you on stream, sir.
How about now?
Now we
Yeah.
can hear you.
Hi, I'm Captain Zai. I play a 6'4" assassin. That means I got 4 arms and kind of look like Goro. And that's what I do here on Monday nights. There's still a lot of stuff going on. Jester does his hardest and damnedest to fucking make sure that we have a lot of fun while we play this game. I mean, what episode is this now? Like
107. 107.
He's got to do a good job, otherwise we wouldn't have stayed this long. So, mad props to the Jester for always having this shit on top. Sometimes on Saturdays, I play Rita Throat Rot in the Apocalypse game that you've heard a couple of the other guys talk about. That is also a lot of fun, but a completely different level of fun. That's where we get out all our narcissistic and evil tendencies. Well, most of us.
Speak for yourself.
Yeah, and so anyway, I have a lot of fun. But On to more important things. Tonight's episode is always brought to you by Bort's Booze and Bitches. It's food worth dying for. It's the only multi-dimensional dive bar that I go to, and that's me, Captain Zai. But more importantly than that, my friend who is not here tonight, Purple Codex, sells t-shirts at tpublic.com. They are amazing and fantastic t-shirts. They are epic. In fact, they are so epic. James, if you would finish our commercial.
Shall I compare thee to Purple Codex merch? Thou art most epic, and have least ethics.
God.
But as we said
Oh
before,
my God.
Purple is not here, and we go on to someone else.
Whoopsies.
Win 5, get 1 free. Go for it.
Man, James, you're a hard act to follow, and now I understand why Purple always has a hard time getting started, because, gotta say.
It's hilarious every damn time.
All right. Hello, everybody. My name is Mike, also known as Win 5, Get 1 Free, and you just caught me playing Matthias Merch Dishburg, the little Raxolite with big plans, who is currently trying to warm up to Shaba, another scientific mind who seems to lack ethics, similar to Purple Codex's merchandise. I'm excited to keep doing that and be like increasingly verbose constantly. It's really fun to be a narcissistic evil genius because yeah, they're fun characters to play. But you can also catch me on various Justice Grab Bags when I am playing either Beef, who is currently the hand reaching in to grab the sardines. And by that I mean a madman in a cramped car with a chainsaw screaming about being a walking apocalypse. Anyway, you can also catch me as Doyle, also known as Eastern Block, who's trying to go all hardcore like Mick Foley, and he's probably going to break his back too because he's too nice to tell people no for stunts. And if you want to catch us on social media, like for instance, what you're watching right now, if you're watching this on Twitch and you want to see it again, because you want to watch us over and over and over again, please follow the Hypnotoad link in the description. No, you can catch us on YouTube at youtube.com/Paradise Theater. And if you're watching this on YouTube right now and want to catch us live for actual live brainwashing and not have to go with the stale canned ones you've seen over and over again, you can catch us at twitch.tv/Pair_O_Dice_Theater. And if you're wanting scheduling, more information on us, getting to see things that we like on Twitter, and hot memes, you can catch us at Pair Theater on Twitter.com. You can catch me in the music that I make at SoundCloud.com/thathoon, THATHOON, all caps, and that is me.
Mike, do you know why Merch has no ethics?
Why?
His name is Merch.
Oh, God.
Yeah, it's true. True, he's purple. Oh, fuck, I never made that comment. I never did that.
That's awesome.
Does that mean I can buy him on Purple Codex's store?
God, I hope so.
No,
If she
that
makes a
would be
little
awesome.
Raxolite doll that you could purchase, I'd buy 5.
I'd buy one for Twinkle because even though he doesn't like you, he needs the full collection.
Awesome. That brings it to me. Of course, shout out to Purple Codex. Could not be here tonight. Personal hiatus. And I want to give first off, I'm going to give a little bit of an end credits scene here. And we kind of come in on a planet, and it's it's just this big planet, and it's got like and at the bottom, like the little title card says Dagox 4. And we see a ship docking and a number of people like going through processing different alien species. You got some Lashuntas, you got some Isekai, you got some Gasathans, you got some Osharu, you got some just everything. And we see a familiar face coming out in chains. And we see a human with a scar over his left eye. And we see formerly Captain Cervantic Cordrum disembarking. We see him go through processing. We hear the music in the background is probably something like Oh God, what's it good? You know what? We're actually gonna mirror this. We're gonna mirror this to Zai's experience, and we're gonna put like, um, you know, uh, SOB, Nate Rightliff and the Night Sweats as the background song, as he's kind of like going through, and we see him get like released into the yard, as it were, and he's kind of wearing his prison, jumpsuit, and we see like a number of like we see like a Vesk, like a big Vesk, with a couple of particularly brawny humans and a Kasathan in the mix, maybe like some other like big alien race. What else? Like a Nuar or something, that are that kind of approach him, and the Vesk is kind of like, oh, fresh meat. It's like you'll do nicely. And Cordrum looks up for just a second, and there's a moment where their like eyes meet for a moment, and Cordrum uh, immediately smiles and launches forward, grabs the Vesk by the collar, headbutts him as hard as he can, sending the Vesk to the ground, and immediately turns around and starts throwing punches, like first knocking the Kasathan out, and then turning around and knocking and punching the new, like he grabs like a he grabs like a rock or something and chucks it into the Nuar's midsection, and and kicks one of the humans in the face. And the last one standing, he looks at him and he goes, "Boo!" And the last human puts his hands up and goes,
Ah,
"I don't want no trouble. I'm done. I'm done." And there's a moment where he kind of is dusting his hands, all sort of like satisfied, and looks around for a minute, and then we drop credits. Yeah, and because we got to keep following this guy. He's too good. He's too bad. He's too good of a bad guy. Um, And tonight, let's take care of the clerical here. For tonight, everybody gets 8,000 experience points. And the Player's Choice Award tonight goes to Serald Silverchild.
nice.
Give yourself another 700 XP.
Unexpected, but
Uh,
appreciated.
You were so quippy. It was wonderful.
I think everybody loved the fact that you were just back talking the Kasathan thugs. You're just like,
Bravo.
and doing it in like an analytical fucking manner too.
It's not every day I get to hear an enkindler in real life.
Excellent. With that said, I am the Just a King Zerat, and you can catch me here on Monday nights for Fire Shrike, my favorite group of space terrorists, space pirates, ne'er-do-wells, misfits, outcasts, and, well, you get the picture. You can also catch me here on Saturday nights. Currently, for Just as Grab Bag, we will be doing something this Saturday night. Possibly some Apocalypse World, but I may actually take it back to Legion Championship Wrestling, because that sounds like that would be a lot of fun. We haven't done it in a while. I kind of want to do it. You can also catch me here on Sundays most of the time. I apologize for this for last night. We personal issues on my part for the Ballad of the Menagerie, and
Hashtag
uh,
Shrike first forever.
we'll have we will have I've got other things that I'm workshopping, that may be popping up in the future. Stay tuned to find out what those may well be. And with that said, I believe it's time to get an RIP Fern and get out of here.
R.I.P.
R.I.P. Fern.
And my eyesight.